Today on Investigate TV Plus, a Supreme Court ruling could have far-reaching impacts on healthcare disparities. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. We examine the steps to offset the decision and offer equal care to all. Plus,
all of a sudden I hear this boom, and I'm like, what on earth is that?
A mother left shaken when her glass oven door exploded without warning into hundreds of pieces. We investigate how often this happens and what you need to watch for.
Then, pen pals finally bridge miles and decades.
It didn't feel strange coming in to meet you because we already knew you.
Right.
You know?
Just that we had not
Never
met in
met.
person
Yes.
and that, so that's true.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, just 13% of the country's population identifies as Black, but recent data shows fewer than 6% are working as doctors.
The American Medical Association believes efforts to recruit more Black doctors received a blow in June of 2023 when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled against affirmative action, which prohibits medical schools from considering race among many factors in admission. The ruling, the president of the American Medical Association said, will, quote, reverse gains made in the battle against health inequities.
We examine the impact of a lack of Black doctors in America and those advocating for diversity in the healthcare system. Dr. Kevin Carson is a man of first in Georgia.
I am the first African-American interventional radiologist.
But growing up in the 1960s, Dr. Carson says he didn't have many role models in the medical field who looked like him.
A friend of mine sent me a scholarship for in underserved communities. And the interesting thing was that 0 African-American men applied for it.
Studies show not much has changed since Dr. Carson attended medical school. A 2022 study by the Association of American Medical Colleges found that 5.7% of doctors identified as Black or African American. Citing the association's 2019 report, Atlanta's Morehouse School of Medicine says only 7.4% of students who entered medical schools across the country in 2019 were Black or African American.
In the 2020s, to be a first is very sobering.
At Washington University Medical School in St. Louis, Dr. Dineo Cabelli is the first Black department head. Dr. Cabelli says there are disparities in healthcare impacting people of color. It's something she experienced firsthand while in labor.
I was in excruciating pain and was ignored.
She's using her experiences as a Black woman to teach future doctors how to care for everyone, regardless of race.
You don't have to be a Black person to deliver this type of care. You just have to understand, what does it feel like to feel isolated or to feel in pain or to feel like nobody believes what you're going through?
And U.S. lawmakers are taking notice, too. Illinois Congresswoman Lauren Underwood, who is also a registered nurse, along with North Carolina Congresswoman Alma Adams and New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, introduced the Momnibus Act of 2023, which includes more than a dozen bills that invest in housing, transportation, nutrition, and other social factors in maternal health. Representative Underwood believes it's important to have more healthcare providers who have similar backgrounds.
As a registered nurse, we know how important it is to have clinical providers that understand the experiences of the patients and communities that they serve, and also sometimes have the lived experiences of those communities.
Public health researcher Dr. Faith Fletcher echoes Representative Underwood. Dr. Fletcher says finding those individuals who have lived and experienced the same things as their patients involves, among other things, transforming the medical education system.
So the approach to this work is really to ensure that all healthcare providers, all medical students receive a medical education that embeds health equity, that teaches them how to be structurally competent.
Dr. Fletcher also believes there are ways of mentoring up with this generation of medical students to improve health equity.
Their experiences and awareness of social issues and police brutality and healthcare mistreatment has really helped I would say to enhance our intellectual medical community with the tools and raising things and challenging the current systems to really improve and transform.
Back in Georgia, Dr. Carson's prescription for diversifying medicine starts at home.
A big part of this is putting it in front of our kids and saying, hey, this is something you can do. This is something you can do to support your money, your community. This is something you can do to support your family.
4 HBCUs have been producing half of the black doctors in the country since 2019. Howard University College of Medicine in Washington, D.C., Meharry Medical College in Nashville, Morehouse School of Medicine in Atlanta, and Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science in Los Angeles. Next year, Morgan State University in Baltimore is set to open its School of Osteopathic Medicine. It will be the first medical school affiliated with an HBCU to open in nearly 50 years.
Taking an in-depth look at affirmative action, schools started race-conscious admissions in the 1960s to accept more students from backgrounds that had previously been excluded. The High Court's decision against affirmative action policies at Harvard University and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill has prompted graduate programs to seek alternative legal recruitment tactics. Reporter Peter Zampa dives into the issue with university students on both sides of the High Court's decision.
I was, of course, very outraged by the decision.
I was kind of relieved to see how it's changed.
I was concerned about the impact of the ruling.
We listened to a handful of students from different universities, some arguing qualified students with less opportunity will have to fight twice as hard for half as much. Others think the court's move was overdue. We start with Stefano Raffo from the University of Maryland.
Now, the Supreme Court seemed to allow the inclusion of race when it comes to telling your life story in an essay. Is that sufficient for you?
It is self-contradictory, because if you're allowing somebody to tell their story through race, why aren't you allowing them to be viewed through race?
Now, supporters of this opinion will say the court is leveling the playing field. What is your response to that?
Schools and universities are underfunded. Minorities are given less opportunities in leadership and clubs and in life. The starting point is not the same. You can't say, oh, this is just a race and you have to go the fastest when people don't start from the same point.
Raheem Williams is a graduate student at the University of Pennsylvania. He agrees we can't rewrite our nation's history, but says affirmative action won't level the playing field.
Jim Crow happened, slavery happened, redlining happened. However, we need to make sure that we are investing in these communities and those students. Most black kids, just like most white kids, were never going to Harvard, and that's okay. And I think that infrastructure for social mobility is still intact because elite institutions were never top institutions when ranked by social mobility. I also think there's a little bit of a disingenuous nature to what we're hearing from our elite institutions.
So do you think affirmative action was a racist policy?
I absolutely know it to be.
Tara Davuti is proud of her South Asian descent. She co-wrote an op-ed in the newspaper The Baltimore Sun. She argues the Supreme Court made a mistake.
If affirmative action remains sidelined for the foreseeable future, what might a campus like this one look like in the future?
I came to the University of Maryland knowing that it was a really diverse campus. And so that decision really scared me because it has the potential to decrease that percentage. And especially at very elite institutions, it has the potential to decrease those already small percentages even further. And these elite institutions are sending their graduates into the top levels of their respective fields.
Johnny Sonny is a junior at American University.
Diversity is absolutely crucial to defining the college campus and experience. But there's a difference between promoting diversity and having people check boxes to define, who they are as a person or a race. So I think getting rid of legacy admissions to start with would be a really meaningful way to help diversify.
Tyler Brown-Dweese, another junior at American, says moving forward, schools will need to be more intentional about maintaining a multicultural student body.
All universities as a whole should go out to majority-minority schools, and you look for them because they're there. You just have to look.
These students don't speak for their schools. They're sharing their own views, but we should all listen
because these potential leaders of tomorrow could shape policy, like affirmative action, in the future. In Washington, D.C., I'm Peter Zampa.
While colleges must remain race neutral when making admission decisions, students can talk about how race has affected their life in either a personal statement or essay. For example, Sarah Lawrence College asked prospective students, quote, describe how you believe your goals for a college education might be impacted, influenced, or affected by the court's decision.
Still to come, is adding more meals the solution to subtracting weight? The medical mythbuster weighs in on this diet trend.
Plus, a hidden hazard in your kitchen.
It came into here. I mean, it was just like a big boom, an explosion of hot glass.
Up next, our investigation reveals why some glass oven doors shatter without warning and what you can do to protect your family.
On top of look both ways before you cross the street, don't talk to strangers, now it's stay away from the oven.
A mother warns about the potential danger that could be in your kitchen. The Consumer Product Safety Commission has received hundreds of reports of glass oven doors exploding without warning.
The majority of modern ovens use tempered glass. Tempered glass is manufactured in extremely high temperatures and then rapidly cooled. This process makes it around 4 times stronger than regular glass. However, tempered glass can still shatter, and when it does, it tends to do so suddenly and violently.
Reporter Susan Campbell examines what's causing glass doors to shatter and why they can be even more frustrating to fix.
The kitchen is one of Nicole Sanchez's favorite places with her kids. They talk.
And it was a spider.
They laugh. And they used to bake together. But not anymore.
All of a sudden I hear this boom. And I'm like, what on earth is that? I go run into the kitchen. I slide on the glass.
It took her a minute to realize what had actually happened.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, our oven just exploded. Glass flew as far as behind the fridge. It came into here. I mean, it was just like a big boom, an explosion of hot glass.
These are some of the pieces of that shattered oven door.
It's a Frigidaire. We've had it for about 3 years. I called them. They said, oh, it's not in warranty anymore, so there's nothing we can do. It's considered cosmetic. And I'm like, hold on. Cosmetic is like a scratch. Cosmetic is not hot flying glass that explodes in your kitchen.
According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, the agency has received 450 reports of oven door shattering from 2019 through 2021. And a review of more recent reports on saferproducts.gov reveals a slew of additional complaints, many of them involving Frigidaire models.
You know, we were using the oven in the way it was meant to be used, and the front door exploded.
Frigidaire's parent company, Electrolux, said it takes safety seriously and said all products comply with household cooking standards. According to the company, glass failures are infrequent, but can be caused by imperfections in the glass or damage that happened during use.
It doesn't say anything in any of the manuals online or the one that I have that the glass could actually explode. So I think there definitely needs to be a recall or at least a warning issued to people.
In a statement, the CPSC said while CPSC has not issued recalls or warnings on shattering oven doors in recent years, we do take all incidents involving shattered glass seriously, adding no severe injuries beyond stitches were reported.
Tempered glass is very strong, but when it does fail like this, it can explode in these, into lots of many pieces. And even though it's intended not to cause lacerations, it certainly does.
Sean Kane is the founder of Safety Research and Strategies, which advocates for consumer safety. He says recalls are difficult to initiate.
Especially with something like this, because there's this intermingling of where does the defect originate from? Is it in the design, the manufacturing, or is it something that happened afterward?
I was standing like this. Nicole can't help but think about the what ifs.
And the scary part about that is that my little guy was just looking in the window about 10 minutes before this happened. So it's really scary to think what could have happened if his face would have been in the window when the glass exploded.
Electrolux said though Sanchez's oven was out of the warranty period, the company is offering her a discount on parts for replacement glass. The company also offered some tips to help prevent oven door glass from breaking. Don't close the oven door until all the oven racks are fully in place. Do not hit glass with pots, pans, or any other object. Scratching, hitting, jarring, or stressing that glass may weaken its structure, causing an increased risk of breakage at a later time. In Phoenix, I'm Susan Campbell.
Two women on different sides of the Atlantic, inspired to become pen pals.
Met, through Friends and Girl Scouts, and this is what happened.
Finally.
Oh.
Still to come, their face-to-face meeting nearly 7 decades in the making. But first, do multiple smaller meals add up to weight loss? The medical mythbuster does the math for you.
Three square meals versus multiple smaller meals a day. Is there a guaranteed number that gets you to your weight loss goals?
In this medical mythbuster, reporter Viv Williams explains why that magic number might be a myth.
Weight loss can be a real head game. You have to commit and stay focused. But if your focus morphs into a fixation with food, the success of the plan may be more of a myth than a successful weight loss strategy.
The 5 to 6 small meals a day for weight loss is definitely a myth.
Dr. Anna Beth Bradley, an endocrinologist at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, says the diet may work for some people, but
when people eat the same calories, the same macronutrients, and 3 balanced meals versus 5 to 6 small meals a day, the weight loss is about the same or more, and that's because eating more frequently actually drives hunger and the desire to eat.
Plus, Bradley says eating 5 or 6 small meals a day is not a metabolism booster. It won't make you burn more calories.
The metabolic rates are the same as people that have 3 balanced meals versus 5 to 6 small meals a day.
Bradley says eating smaller meals throughout the day gained popularity for reasons such as preventing blood sugar dips or spikes and keeping energy levels high.
I think either strategy can work for weight loss, but having more frequent meals is not necessarily going to help you lose weight.
It really depends on what works best for you. With this medical mythbuster, I'm Viv Williams.
Hundreds of letters, generations of change inspire two women to bridge thousands of miles and make their lifelong wish come true.
We've come a long way, haven't we?
Yeah. Up next, two friends who've known each other for nearly 70 years finally meet face to face. A pen pal is someone you write friendly letters to and receive letters from, although you two may have never met. You may have had one, but lost track of them as you grew older.
But this story isn't about losing track of a friend. It's about two women who stayed in each other's lives for nearly 7 decades, despite an ocean separating them.
After years of writing, they finally got the chance to put down their pens and exchange a hug. Reporter Lauren Korn captured their meeting.
Welcome.
Yes, lovely. Finally.
Oh my gosh. This is great.
Isn't it?
After all these years.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Best friends?
We've missed each other.
I know.
Together at last.
Finally.
Finally.
It only took 68 years and a flight across the pond.
3,839 miles.
That is beautiful.
To meet for the very first time.
After missing in so many instances when we said, well, if we can, we will,
right,
or whatever, and we've never quite managed to be on the same continent at the same time.
But thanks to Patsy Gregory's daughter,
it was totally overwhelming when they told me that we were finally going to meet.
She and longtime pen pal Carol Krause got a surprise of a lifetime.
We've come a long way, haven't we?
Yeah.
A chance to reminisce in real time.
We were just met, through Friends and Girl Scouts, and this is what happened.
The two, who were born exactly 1 month apart,
June 6th and July 6th, yes,
were 12 years old in 1955 when they started writing to each other.
It just says, Dear Patsy, thanks for the nice letter and the pictures. Also, thanks for the birthday gift. I would have written sooner, but with school starting and homework, there just wasn't enough time.
Dear Cappy and Dan, I can't believe another year has gone. Life is just
rushing
by, And at the moment, it seems to be all work and no play.
Documenting all the major milestones.
We got married fairly close to one another.
Right.
We both had 3 children.
Yes.
And we've just gone through life, all the trials and tribulations,
That's
and
for
shared
sure.
it.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's just absolutely lovely.
Yes, it is. It's great that your
And we're
kids...
both still here.
Yes. Amen to that, right?
Their friendship evolved as seamlessly as the forms of communication they used.
When we first started writing, it was in pencil.
Probably in pencil, yes.
And then, a little later on, we progressed to pen.
Right.
And from pen, it was sort of our typing ability.
Yeah. When we all got computers and
Yes.
email addresses and everything else like that. And now with Facebook, now it can be on
Social
instant
media,
messenger.
yeah. It didn't feel strange coming in to meet you because we already knew you.
Right.
You know?
Just that we had not
Never
met in
met.
person
Yes.
and that. So
Yeah.
that's true.
Because it even amazes me that it's so long.
Oh.
Okay, us behind the scenes learned something during that story. This one had a pen pal growing up, right?
I did, and it was around the same age, but I lost track of her, and it made me sad because I could have a relationship like those 2 ladies. And if you have a pen pal, keep writing them.
Or if you remember her as your pen pal, write her now, right?
Yes,
in New York,
please.
right?
In New York, yes.
Yes, all right. That's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching. Next time on Investigate TV Plus, dozens of people say they're out thousands of dollars after seeking treatment for a sensitive issue.
When you saw the ad on TV, did you think this could be the solution to the problem I've been having?
Well, yes.
It gave you hope.
I really did. Yeah, it gave me hope.
What the clinic claimed and how our questions led to our multi-state investigation.